Welcome, and thank you for downloading The 8 Biggest Problems, brought to you by Cadence Management Corporation. For over 25 years, Cadence has been helping organizations around the world to make a difference through project management success. Today, Cadence is widely recognized as a leading provider of project management training, consulting services, and supporting tools. Join Cadence President John Patton as interviewed by colleague Scott Allison in this episode of The 8 Biggest Problems.
So we've discussed 5 problems so far, and they appear to be pretty significant. How about number 6?
Number 6 is also significant. Remember, these are the top 8 problems that I see going on project after project around the world, causing delays. And this one is responsibility at the task level is unclear. We really aren't clear as to who is doing what at the task level on the project. And there are major consequences of that.
And what happens when responsibilities are not well defined?
Well, when they're not clearly defined, you get some inefficiencies and you get some anxieties. The inefficiencies are there when too many people start working on the task, and you end up having 3 people working and 2 people watching. Maybe you've seen some of that as you observed projects. Then we find that people work alone when more people are needed. Now, when a person works alone on a task, it means when they think they're finished and they go to hand it over, they really aren't finished, and more work needs to be done. And sometimes that will cause rework. That's another kind of inefficiency. We say that the project manager is responsible for everything. Yet the project manager has no line authority. So when responsibilities are unclear and the work isn't adequately defined, then you get status meetings that speak about the next 1 or 2 weeks out, and you get conversations like, what were we going to do next week? Who's going to do that task? I thought you were working on that. And we see the same project getting redefined over and over again in weekly status meetings, but never with a longer-term horizon, never with the end in sight.
And what is the Cadence solution, and what would you be able to provide?
Scott, this is a solution that Cadence is well known for. We've used it in our consulting assignments on troubled projects to get them under control. And it's called a graphic responsibility matrix. There are multiple versions of responsibility matrices out there. Think of this one as graphic. And since we're in a conversation and we don't have video, I'm going to use an analogy to help you visualize it. Imagine a tennis racket, which is rectangular in shape. And think of that racket in landscape orientation, so that the long side is across the bottom and the shorter side is across the side. And attached to each one of the strings on the shorter side are people's names. Attached to each one of the strings across the bottom are tasks. Let's take one of those tasks. Let's take one of those strings moving up from a task, moving up vertically. As we look to the left, anytime somebody on the left contributes to the completion of that task, we're going to put a dot at the intersecting points. So once we've finished those dots on a vertical string, we're then going to ask of the contributors, which one of you should lead this task? The person who decides to lead the task gets a circle around their dot. And they're usually the person who does most of the work on the task. We're going to do this for every one of the tasks on the responsibility matrix. The result will be a graphical display of responsibility and contribution. And it's very powerful when it's developed with the project team, all present, standing around this responsibility matrix, deciding who works on a task, who doesn't, if they work, who's responsible. There's a tremendous richness in the discussion. People ask questions about what the task is. You'll hear responses. I thought it was this. No, I thought it was that. And people will clarify their understanding, and the whole team benefits. Another benefit of the responsibility matrix is it will find out who the real team is. You may think you have the right team, but as you are discussing on a task level who needs to contribute, who will be responsible, you'll find that you may be missing a team member. You may find that once you finish the responsibility matrix, someone who was assigned to your team doesn't have many dots. They're really not needed on an ongoing basis on this project team based on the number of dots and circle dots that they have. In my experience, we've found all sorts of project problems earlier using the responsibility matrix. And these are problems about resources, these are problems of responsibility and authority. Issues pop up when people start talking about the tasks on a detailed level.
Thank you for listening to the 8 Biggest Problems. For more information on this series or on Cadence Management Corporation training and support for your projects, visit Cadence on the web at www.cadencemc.com. All the tools mentioned in this series are available to download for free. This and all Cadence podcasts are available for free in the iTunes Store. Download iTunes today at www.apple.com/iTunes. Join us next week for the next episode of the 8 Biggest Problems from Cadence Management Corporation. Thank you, and we wish you only the greatest project success.